students of yoga often have is, what is this interplay between the brain, this physical signal-emitting thing, and the mind? How do we control one or the other? Can we control one or the other? And what is the interplay between the two? I'd love to hear from Sadhvi first on this. It's just a small topic, Sadhvi.
It's a great topic, though, and there's so many ways in to the topic. Because ultimately, the question that you've asked is, how do I create my life? I mean, Bruce is talking about creating our life. So much of that which we hear, whether from spiritual leaders or motivational speakers or yoga teachers and everyone in between, speaks about creating our life, creating our reality. And yet, what are the tools we have to create? I mean, if I'm going to build a physical structure, we have bricks, we have cement, we have wood, we have whatever we need. Well, if I'm going to build joy, peace, love, what are the building blocks? Now, of course, the first piece of it is that's the truth of who we are. So the good news is you don't actually have to build from the ground up. We just have to remove that which is blocking us from living as that. But again, what are the tools for that? It's easy to say, we can speak about it, but what are the tools? And really the tools are our mind, our thoughts. Whether we're doing yoga postures, whether we're doing meditation, whether we're chanting affirmations or mantras, whatever we're doing, it's the mind that's telling us to do it. The mind is the one that says, go to yoga class instead of go to the bar. The mind is the one that as we're doing the yoga postures either keeps us focused there or says, oh my God, this is so stupid, I could be eating pizza and watching a movie right now, or anything in between. It's the mind that chants the mantras. It's the mind that notices when my mind is no longer chanting my mantras and, as Puja Swamiji says, has gone to Paris without a ticket or a visa. It's my mind that brings it back. So the mind is actually our greatest tool. It's almost our only tool in this. But the brain is really what we have tangibly. I mean, working with the mind is very abstract. And I come from a background not just in academia, but in psychology. And it's very abstract. The brain, and this for me is what I love about it, is the brain, I think, is the medium through which we experience consciousness and the mind. So the brain is not the mind. We know, for example, as Bruce spoke so beautifully, one TV set is broken, we get a new TV set. So life after life, when we reincarnate, along with the soul, something called the subtle body travels. I won't go into too much of that here, but an aspect of the subtle body is mind. So the brain is finished. Those neurons are no longer sending electrical signals down the axon. Brain is dead, literally. It's buried, it's cremated, whatever your tradition may be. So the brain is not the mind, and yet, for all practical purposes, in our practice, in our yoga, in our sadhana, in our intentions, the brain is the vehicle through which, the medium through which we experience the mind. So for example, Bruce exists. We know Bruce exists. But how do I know Bruce exists? Well, I have 5 ways of knowing he exists. I have my eyes, I have my ears, I have my touch, I have my smell, I have my taste. If I close my eyes and Bruce is not speaking, and presumably he doesn't have on any strong cologne or something that my sense of smell picks up, and I'm not touching him at this moment, or licking him at this moment to taste him, right? So I'm not able to use any of my senses. For me, Bruce might as well not exist. There is no interaction between Bruce's existence and my experience if I'm not able to experience him through my 5 senses. Now, of course, that doesn't change Bruce's existence. He's still here. You could all see him. Your eyes are open. But for my life, if I'm going to be impacted by, taught by Bruce, whether by the words he speaks, by the presence of his being, by his love, by his energy, well, I have to have some way of interacting with it. And our physical brain is our way, I believe, of interacting with consciousness. It is our way of interacting with the mind. Now, what we know, and this is the stuff I really love about neurology, is that you can actually go into the brain because it doesn't have any pain sensors. And so if for some reason someone has to have a brain operation for some other reason, so the scalp is open, they actually can go in with metal probes and they can stimulate different areas of the brain, and they can make you very happy. They can make you giggly, they can make you very sad, they can make you angry, they can make you sexually aroused. They can pretty much create all of that which we usually term emotion, feelings. And the reason that for me this is so deep is most of us identify as those so deeply. I am my anger. I am angry. Yes, I would be able to live a spiritual life, except I am angry. The thing blocking me from spirituality is my pain, is my memories, is my emotions. Well, the truth is, those exist in very physical, tangible, electrical, chemical reactions in the brain that can be either stimulated or numbed. Anybody who's ever taken chemical assistance, anything ranging from drugs or alcohol to any kind of pharmaceuticals that change your brain chemistry, knows it impacts what we think. It impacts how we interact with the world. Well, it's not impacting our etheric spirit mind, as Bruce spoke about out here. It's playing on the electrical chemical patterns in my tangible brain. And this is where that which we do for our brain, whether it's nutrition, whether it's yoga, whether it's 100 other things we may do, deep breathing, bringing oxygen. I mean, forget the spiritual benefits of it. That which we do for our brain changes our mind. It changes our experience of our consciousness. And that's very exciting. The other last piece for me that's exciting is because we know it can be stimulated, it loses a little bit of its power over us. If you know that someone can stick a metal probe in your brain and make you angry, it's hard to really identify as that anger. If you know that a pill or a liquid changes that anger for you, well, it's hard to identify as I am that anger. Now, obviously, the goal is to work with it non-chemically. But if you've ever used the chemicals and had that experience, you at least know it's not me. Because look, there I was, but I thought differently. I felt differently. And what it reminds us is I'm not my emotions. I'm not my thoughts. They're taking place due to patterns, due to what I eat, the food I eat, the air I breathe, the chemicals I'm ingesting, purposely or not purposely, due to the energy I'm picking up in the world around us. And so that gives us a lot of freedom. And the freedom there is our thoughts are tickets. They are not who you are. I like to think of them as tickets. If you walked into an airport or a train station or a bus station and you said, I'd like a ticket, the first thing they would say to you is, where to, ma'am? Where to, sir? Or if you said, just give me a first-class ticket, best ticket you've got, fastest vehicle, give it to me now. As much as they tried to help you, again, they would have to say, where to? Every thought we have takes us to a destination. Some of them take us to a destination of peace, of joy, of gratitude, of meaning, of fulfillment. Some of them take us to destinations of misery, of hopelessness, of worthlessness. But we jump on them because they're the train that's passing by without ever wondering where they're going. I mean, if I said to Bruce, guess what? I've got you booked on this wonderful bus this afternoon. Come, come, come. Well, hopefully he would say to me, and where are we going? Bus sounds great, train sounds great, and where are you taking me? And unless I could tell him that I was taking him someplace he wanted to go, no matter how comfortable or great or decorated or fancy the compartment might be, he wouldn't jump on. And so when we have thoughts, when you have stuff of the mind, fluctuations of the mind, before we jump on them, when we recognize this is just a chemical and electrical pattern, before you jump on it, ask yourself, is this the destination I want to go? And if not, get yourself a different ticket. Because that's the power we have to create that world.
Thank you so much, Sadhvi.